That's right. Time to cook. Time to cook indeed. Want to make sure my volume on my headset is adjusted. Alright, so we're not going to do the good morning, good afternoon, because, hey, that's my usual phrase I say for walkthroughs specifically. Okay, so, as promised, I said that I would actually do like a report card of what, pretty much like a 1 out of 10 I gave basically the PlayStation Plus Essential games. So this is just kind of like a overview, but really a verdict video of what do I think about the PlayStation Plus Essential for each month. I know I started February, but I kind of just wanted to get it out there and just basically kind of give my 2 cents of what I thought about each month and things that they could improve for, let's just say, next year. And I guess in 2 months, or it's almost December. It's crazy. All right, so as always, I will go ahead and do a timer. And in this case, I'll just do it for, let's just do 3 minutes because you guys know I like to prattle on and just talk nonstop. So, starting the timer now. Okay, so for January of 2024, we had a Plague Tale Requiem. I was trying to say a Plague Tale Requiem. Evil West, and Nobody Saves the World. A little on the nose, don't you think? Okay, so in terms of like the score of what I got it, I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. I think the W's in January were definitely Nobody Saves the World. It was such a delight just to play this type of roguelike for these kind of like plethora of different character classes. Very unique game, and I actually would highly recommend it. It's just too bad that nobody's actually going to play it, but I highly recommend it. And another one, if I actually got to play it, because I'm working on a Plague Tale Innocence, because that's a fantastic game, is the sequel of Plague Tale Requiem. I think that was a W too. I mean, that's not a throwaway game. That was a game that was at the Game Awards, and it got added to PlayStation Plus Essential, which surprised me, intrigued me. And that's kind of a win. Evil West is just that campy kind of Wild West that doesn't take itself seriously, but it's good for amusement, and it has all of basically Van Helsing's monster, vampires, werewolves, you name it. So yeah, 8 out of 10. I think that's pretty appropriate. I think 2 solid games. One game that was kind of like, hey, it's okay, but it's good for its campiness, and that is sums it up. So let's move on to the month of February of what they offered. This is the type of game that I'm not meant for. This is the type of game that suits me so well. Rollerdrome, I can highly recommend it. Too bad no one's actually going to play it. But it's a game that's made for me. Now, let's go over the games that came out in February of 2024. Foam Stars, absolute disaster. Did horrible. Moving on. Rollerdrome, it's such a fantastic game. It's too bad that Roll 7's closed down. Man, they made actually good games, but they're shut down now. Here we are. And then, Steelizing. Why am I pronouncing it like that? Well, anyway. Okay, so games came out. Rollerdrome was definitely the successful one that I would highly recommend. I played Foam Stars, just a multiplayer. I think it had bare bones single player. I just don't think it was. It came out at a time where we were so oversaturated with live service games that nobody really cared that it came out. I saw the trailer and it was just another Splatoon. It was PlayStation Splatoon, but it's not bad. It just, I can see why it became free on PlayStation Plus later down the road because they had no choice because of sales and just how kind of mediocre it was. So that was kind of like a doubter, just nothing special, just But yeah, I think people would definitely try out Rollerdrome. It's just that nobody will play Rollerdrome, except for myself. And Steel Rising, it was kind of a good Souls-like in France. Nothing to write home about, but it's unique. I just don't think it's like so unique compared to other Souls-like competitors. So that kind of sums it up. Nobody really. Rollerdrome is really the W in this. And if I have to give a score, really, I guess 5. The only thing that kind of saves it is Rollerdrome. Rollerdrome is the best PlayStation Plus Essential they could have put. It's just too bad nobody's really played it. But yeah, 5 out of 10. in terms of my report card. Let's get to the next clip. Oh, Sifu. Oh, man. I'm excited about March. March was an exciting time. Alright, so the games that came out was Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, DLC, F1 23, Hello Neighbor 2, and Sifu. Oh, man. Exciting. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 just because we got a DLC that we didn't actually have to pay for Destiny 2, which that's a good move. If you want people to play your DLCs, give it to us for free, and then, of course, people go back to Destiny 2 because Destiny 2 is all for that free loot! Okay, well, whoever's a Destiny 2 fan, you already recognize that reference. So, yeah, in terms of that, 8 out of 10. People might disagree with me. I guess we didn't really get a whole lot, but I thought the W was definitely Destiny 2, The Witch Queen. Definitely Sifu. It was on my radar. It was on my wish list. And then they were like, here, you get it for free. I was like, cool. I was like, I'm all about that kung fu action. So the fact that I got to now play it, I freaking love it. Yeah, it's so dope. It's so dope. I love coming back to Sifu every time. That's definitely the W. Hello Neighbor 2 was definitely, I wouldn't say it's a W. I just have to get through the first one. But yeah, that's cool that once I finish the first one and the other spin-off games, I can just go straight to Hello Neighbor 2 and see, hey, but I like Hello Neighbor. I just don't think it's like the greatest game, but yeah, I think it's a good cat and mouse kind of series. So I can see why they have multiple Hello Neighbors because it's kind of a good popcorn game that you want to do a live reaction and stuff, and it's fun. But yeah, the major W's is definitely Destiny, Witch Queen, and Sifu. Yes, I know I didn't mention F123. It's another racing game. Yeah, I got it for free, and of course it's in my collection. It's nothing special, but it's fun. It's fun enough. But it's another sports game. Like me and Doc were talking about. Like I know he always tells me like I'm so sick of playing sports games. And I'm like, I get it, but I'm kind of like sports games, particular specific ones. Well, with that, let's move on. Well, I guess let's. No, I got nothing clever for this. Let's just move on to April. No, I didn't forget about this hidden gem. So, April of 2024, that came up with Immortals of Avium. Nothing special. Minecraft Legends, that was throwaway, and Skull the Hero Slayer. Alright, well, the only major W was Skull the Hero Slayer. That's a game that I would not mind coming back, and since we owned it, well, I owned it forever, that would be a game that I would be coming back if I didn't have any other projects, or if I was like, you know what? I want to go back to Skull the Hero Slayer. And, you know, it's a good roguelike, because it's also unique and it adds a unique spin. And yes, I know I didn't mention Immortal of Avium and the other games, because those games, if you really want a Minecraft game like that, just play Minecraft. And if you want a game like Immortals of Avium, play another game. I'm just saying. Nothing more I can say about this. This one was like it's a 5 out of 10. The only thing that saves it is Skull the Hero Slayer. That's the only game that saves it. Other than that, there's no really other particularly great game besides Skull the Great Slayer, and they know it too. Yeah, so 5 out of 10. I think that's pretty appropriate, and okay, so we will kind of go over the other ones, but yeah, that kind of sums it up for April. 5 out of 10. I think that is pretty appropriate. Let's freaking go! That's what I named that video back in May, and it's still relevant to this day. So, May 2024, Destiny 2 Lightfall came out, EA Sports FC 24, another sports game, Ghost Runner 2, and Tunic, and I think I got all of them, maybe, no, I did get EA Sports FC 24, but I did actually this was the mod, and I give it a 9 out of 10, and I don't know if this will be my favorite mod, but I think it is, but yeah, May 2024, absolutely a 9. And it's because we got another kind of like DLC for Destiny 2, and even though people wanted to move on to other live service game, I mean, come on, getting another kind of big project as a DLC as big as Destiny 2, That's a W in itself. And the fact that Ghost Runner 2 was on my wish list, and then they're like, here, have it for free. I'm like, okay. I was like, I get frustrated with Ghost Runner 1, but I do enjoy Ghost Runner 1. It's that kind of it's that high octane Hotline Miami kind of like cyberpunk ninja samurai thing that they're trying to go for, and I love it, and I'm all for it. And then Tunic, it's Legend of Zelda for PlayStation. I'm like, it was on my radar too. It was also on my wish list. So you gave me two great games for the price of two great games for the price of one, and then you give me a DLC. I didn't really care that much for the sports game, but it's a good kind of like snack while I'm waiting for a FIFA game and all that. But yeah, 9 out of 10. I think the real W's were the Destiny 2, like Destiny 2 DLC, but really it was Tunic and Ghost Runner 2. I was not expecting Ghost Runner 2 to just kind of show up on PlayStation Plus Essentials, same as Tunic. I welcome Tunic, and I got it for free, and I don't have to use it for extra and freedom. That is what I'm cool with. Yes, and yes, clearly I enjoyed Tunic. So 9 out of 10, appropriate. That was when PlayStation. I was like, PlayStation, you're listening to the fans. You're giving us actually high quality products that I actually do care about. That was on my wish list. That's more buck to my money. So let's freaking go. Yes, appropriate for this month. Let's move on. I think, and I say it awkwardly, this was the worst month of the PlayStation Plus Essential. I think this one was. Alright, so this, and I say this with kind of like my melancholy voice, really not melancholy, but kind of like, this is okay, and I don't look back at it fondly. June of 2024. Okay, so we had AEW Fight Forever. I clearly passed on that. SpongeBob SquarePants, who live in the bottom of the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants! Okay, so SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, I obviously skip because might as well just watch the show than get the game. And the OG Streets of Rage 4. Okay, so if I had to give this a score for June 2024, it was definitely disappointing. 3. Maybe 3 or 2, and I'm being generous. You know what, screw it, 2. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 10. It's because I owned Streets of Rage 4 because me and my wife were looking at it and we were just like, we want it because we like Streets of Rage. She got me into Streets of Rage, so naturally we're gonna get Streets of Rage 4. So we owned it way before we even got to this point. I don't know if Doc owned this one. I don't know if this is his cup of tea, but you never know. Maybe he owns it. Who knows? But yeah, the W was definitely Streets of Rage 4. Everything else was a crap fest. I mean, these were games that were worse than Foam Stars, and that's saying something. It's not that AE Fight Forever didn't seem like a bad game, it's just that it was a game that nobody really asked for, or maybe people did play it, who knows? SpongeBob SquarePants was clearly just to kind of like, hey, SpongeBob games still exist, here they are, and I kind of sums it up. I was disappointed. I was, not because of Streets of Rage 4. I will not say a bad thing about Streets of Rage 4, because it's freaking awesome. But every other game besides this game, it sucked. And I could tell, I was like, PlayStation Sony, you had a successful month in May. Why are you giving us, besides Streets of Rage 4, why are you giving us crap games? I was like, no one asked for those two other games. You should have just substituted for better first party title games. Or just better games in general. You just kind of gave us crap games. I don't know what that was all about. It was such a weird month in June. Alright, well, let's get Streets off. I got nothing clever. Let's just move on to, I guess, July. Okay, so for this one, slightly better than June. At least June was the worst month. But July was nothing special. I mean, 5 out of 10, I think that's pretty appropriate. I'm always saying that because, well, the games that came out was Among Us, Borderlands 3, and NHL 24. I'm cool with hockey games, but I really had to find, like, specific hockey games that was played by everybody else, and just actually good scores. Not just based on grids, just people actually played it. I skipped NHL 24 because I just haven't found a good hockey game yet. And that's nothing That's nothing against anybody. I just haven't found a good hockey game. Not yet, at least. I'll keep looking, but this one, I was like, I looked at it, I like, I might, no, I'm gonna skip it. And I already own Borderlands 3 and Among Us, so I think that's why I gave it a 5 out of 10, because two of the games, I was like, but these are two games I owned, like, way before, and I got Borderlands 3 on sales price, and I got Among Us for a very cheap price. And it was a game that Among Us was already popular before it came to PlayStation Plus Essential, so they're just giving it to us for free. And people still play it, but it's kind of one of those party games. And so yeah, I was like, okay, you're not really giving me my money's worth. You're just giving me two games that I already owned. So this is kind of defeat. I was like, you might as well not just give us anything in July. You didn't really give us anything in July. So that's why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10, because two games I already own, and you're giving me a game that nobody really asked for? Yeah, and I was like, come on, Sony PlayStation, you can do better than that. I mean, I was like, you did well in May. So now you just kind of have a mediocre kind of month, but hey, it was at least better for June, because we actually got two better games compared to what they were trying to give us in June. June was a travesty, and everyone knows it. But July wasn't like bad. It's just that most 9 out of 10 times they would have owned Among Us and Borderlands 3. Let's face it. All right. Well, let's shoot and loot to the next clip. Yeah, that's good. All right. I mean, I was slightly disappointed, but not overly disappointed. Not like June and July. And there's only one title that saved August, and I will give it a 6 out of 10. I'm okay, and I'm comfortable with giving it a 6 out of 10. Is Ender Lilies Quietest of the Night. It is such a solid Metroidvania Souls-like that I enjoy my time with it, and I want more. And I was like, when I have time, I will come back to this. It's a solid game that people are either playing or not playing. And it's okay if people are not playing, because it's a game that was made for me. And then, of course, we have Five Nights at Freddy's, Security Break, and Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. That's why I gave it a 6 out of 10. I was like, oh my gosh, Ender Lilies is so freaking awesome. And then I was like, oh, there's these two other games. I was like, and it's because Lego games just do not click with me. It just doesn't. I have tried Lego games before. They just do not click with me at all. But hey, a Five Nights at Freddy game, and it was the most recent one in the series, and I was like, alright, sure, I'll get it for free, because I am in kind of a Five Nights at Freddy, like, marathon, so when I get to that point, I want to at least finish the main titles before I head to that. So I was like, alright, I'll save it for, like, a rainy day, and you never know, I might play it after the last good game for the series, when it was all about jump scares instead of amusement parks. Well, I guess that kind of is a contradiction once you think about it. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. Ender Lilies is the major W out of this, and I kind of wish they released games like this that nobody was asking for, but it's just so... it's a hidden gem that people should try out, but people are not going to try out. But I'm glad... Hey, it's cool. I would have never known about it, and this is kind of wish... But hey, I'll save my concluding thoughts for the end of the video. 6 out of 10, pretty appropriate. Alright, let's move on to the next clip. It makes sense that they would release this game, because I think Little Nightmares 3 got announced, I don't know if it was after the fact, or before Little Nightmares 2, I had to double check, but that's okay. So this is... The last one I talked about was August of 2024, so this one is September of 2024. It's a 6 out of 10. And it's because they gave us two crappy games, and I'm not talking about Little Nightmares 2. No, I think that's a major W, but alright, let's talk about the games they did release. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, I know I mispronounced it, who freaking cares? Little Nightmares 2, I was trying to say Little Nightmares 2, and MLB The Show 24. Okay, so another sports game that nobody really asked for. Nobody asked for. But hey, it's okay if they gave us a sports game. Hey, I immensely enjoy MLB 19, so the fact that they gave us MLB 24, hey, I'm all for it. More baseball action. So that wasn't like disappointing, but I still give it a 6 out of 10 because I was like, it's a sports game that you could have been replaced with the indie title, or it could have been replaced with another good horror game, or just something else. So that was kind of just, it was not bad, it just wasn't great. And they gave us I guess, a original Harry Potter multiplayer game that I was like, well, I'm not like a Harry Potter fan, but I wasn't asking for it. They might as well just give a Hogwarts Legacy or that Hogwarts game. I would have been completely cool with that. I'm like, you know what? I would have preferred that game than whatever Harry Potter Quidditch Champions was trying to be. I looked at it and I was just like, I don't care. Who's this for? And then I moved on. I'm glad I didn't grab it. Maybe it was good. Or maybe it was something. I just didn't care. So yeah, 6 out of 10. Little Nightmares 2 was clearly the W. It was on my radar, and then hey, here you go for free. I was like, okay, I'll take it. It was on my wish list. So cool. All right, so 6 out of 10, and from pretty much July through September, they were crap. They were not crap fest. I mean, there was one game out of 2 other games that sucked so much, but that's where it changed in October. So, let's get a jump scare, or I guess get Little Nightmares, and let's move on to the next clip. Well, try to get a good transition. I couldn't. Too bad. Well, anyway. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up, up, up. Okay, well, did I creep you enough? Did I creep you guys enough? Or did I creep you out? No, probably not. Hey, wait, I tried it as best as I could. So, October 2024. You know, full of horror games and a certain... It's Halloween, obviously. Okay, so the games that were announced were Dead Space. Oh, man, yes! Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Yes! Even though I owned it before then, but yeah! WWE 2K24. A sports game that's a wrestling game that, hey, I'm all for it. And if you give it for me for free, I'm all for it. I'm completely cool with that. Because I was. Okay, so 9 out of 10. This was like one of my also favorite months. It wasn't my favorite month, but it was a step in the right direction. I'm like, hey, PlayStation, yeah, good idea. You know what? All the games were major W's. Even WWE 2K24, even though that's a wrestling game, and if you grew up in the wrestling times, like if you were like grew up in that time, then of course it's a welcome treat to go back to just like the wrestlers that kind of defined your teenage years or childhood and all that. So hey, I ain't gonna knock it because overall we had a plethora of great games. For Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, I played it on Steam, so, and then I actually got the game. So that was a welcome treat, and I would say I would highly recommend check it out because it's such a something. All bets are off, and everything that happens in the game is just so left field that you're not expecting. And I enjoy it. I highly recommend it, but no one's gonna check it out because it's visual novel. But man, that's a solid game. So solid lineup. Overall, I think what maybe would have elevated to a 10 is maybe replace the wrestling game, but that's okay. What they gave us, even if they didn't give us an extra game, completely okay. Because let's face it, they just gave us the OG Dead Space that I played on the Xbox 360, and I get to play the PS5 version, and I was like, yes! Because I got the EA Play, and I got it because me and my wife enjoy It Takes Two so much that we actually got it. And I was like, alright, added bonus, I get to play the Dead Space PS5, and it's justified. And I get it on PlayStation Plus Essential. Perfect game to put in October. It was a perfect game! And that's why I give it an 9 out of 10. Primarily because of that. That's a major W. Doki Doki Literature Club was a W. And WWE 2K24, what's not to like? Wrestling game with horror and more horror and visual novel. 9 out of 10. Alright. Well, let's go to the next clip. Yeah, I was sad when Ghostwire Tokyo was taken away from PlayStation Extra and Premium because it was also a hidden gem that was from Tango Gameworks that no one's really gonna play, but it was a game made for me and I was completely cool with it. So when it was coming back on PlayStation Plus Essential, I was like, yes! Yes! I'm cool with that. 7 out of 10 for November 2024. The games that we got, two of them were, I think, solid lineups. But one, you could just watch the anime. So, Death Note Killer Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharge. Compared to the last month, October's really solid lineup, it was a step in the raw direction that Sony is kind of now known for at this point, sadly. The major W's were, well, the major W was definitely Ghostwire Tokyo. People might be pissed that they finished in Extra and Premium, and you're just like, why am I getting the same game that I just finished in Extra and Premium? Why do I have to get the same game? This is so stupid. And I completely understand from what I read on the PlayStation blog comments. You're really getting the game that was just disappeared or just actually left in March, or I can't remember when it left, but it was still fresh in your head, and you probably already finished it. So the fact that they took a game from the extra and just put it on Essential, it's not really any value in that. Especially if you already finished it, then you're just getting it for free for the rest of your life. I mean, that's not. Some people might be actually pissed about that because they could have replaced it with any other game, which is understandable. But $60 to, or sales price if you get lucky with Ghostwire Tokyo, for free, I ain't complaining. I like Ghostwire. I like Ghostwire Tokyo. So the fact that now I get to finish it and take my time getting to finish it, I'm completely cool with that. That's why I gave it a 7 out of 10. And the sequel to Hot Wheels, which I enjoyed the first game so much, so just get a sequel to it is absolutely cool. I did not care about Death Note Killer Within because obviously I didn't download it. I didn't actually care to do a video because there just wasn't. I could just watch the anime, and I like the anime. I just don't like the last second half, or the second half really. So I couldn't care less about that Death Note Killer Within. Unique concept. I just did not care. All right, let's move on to the next to last clip. Is this thing on? Yes, it is. You guys know it's on. Alright, so the game, December 2024, because, you know, it's pretty recent, and I kind of gave my thoughts about this. Alright, so, in itself, like, just the games by itself, like, December 2024, I mean, It Takes Two, Aliens, Dark Descent, and Temtem. So, odd title, but hey, here we are. By itself, 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. It Takes Two is the major W in terms of that, but the other games are kind of throwaway, and they were. I feel like they, for sales price, they would be justifiable, but just be kind of just PlayStation Plus Essential. It's kind of like the last December. Sable was the major W of last year, but those other two games were really crapfest, and it's the same for the two games besides It Takes Two. Me and my wife loved this game, but we already bought it before, so it's not really any money's worth, and it's not justified to put It Takes Two if it's still on EA Play. I mean, you can literally get for EA Play for, what is it, $6 now for the subscription, unless there's some Black Friday deal or something. Then, yeah, it doesn't make sense to put It Takes Two, but it's okay. Now, with the other extra bonuses that are coming out, like, Warhammer Space Marine 2, and the Sly Cooper, the rest of the games coming out on PS4, PS5, and Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, and some other multiplayer and goodies. Yeah, but those are not part of the PlayStation Plus Essentials. Those are just separate games, like, let's just say, Extra and Premium. With those games included, then yeah, this will elevate it to an 8 because of Sly Cooper and the other goodies that we're getting. But by itself, PlayStation Plus Essential, which that's what we're here for, it gets a 5 out of 10. There's just too many games that are crap fest, and there's a game that you most likely or already played on EA Play. So that's not really justifiable. I just don't think it was that worth it. Yeah, it was kind of lackluster. A lackluster end for 2024 in terms of PlayStation Plus Essential. All right, now let's start. Let's stop the typer. Stop the typer. Let's stop the timer, and we'll take 5 minutes to kind of give my report card or my analysis of what I thought about the PlayStation Plus Essential in general. All right, so if I had to give it out of 10, because it was kind of the same thing for 2023, but I felt like there was more original titles, so it got away with it last year because we had, oh crap, did Sea of Stars come out? Did Sea of Stars come out in 2023? Well, anyway, I felt like there was more original games that came out that were actually cool, like Humanity, Chia, Sea of Stars, and the list goes on. But yeah, when you really think about it, or wait, no, that's extra. Okay, so essential wise, an out of 10, I would say 6. Yeah, 6 out of 10. I think besides May and October, and I'm looking at the list again, just to kind of like refresh myself because I just did a marathon on this. I think 6 out of 10 is pretty good and pretty fitting. I just don't think there was any like the major games that I think deserved major W's was definitely in October and May. It felt like the money that you spent for the essential games were it just felt like your money there was money value. Like you were really getting your buck. You're really getting your buck and getting your real that value for May and October because the fact that you had Tunic, Destiny 2 DLC, Ghost Runner 2 in May, and then Dead Space, Doki Doki Literature Club, and WWE 24 in October. But that's the thing. The other games, you only had one game, or in rare cases, 2 games for each month. But overall, yeah, it was just not a whole lot of like standout games. There was just only one each month, but except for May and October. But overall, yeah, the games that we got were either mediocre, disappointing, or you just didn't want to download, or games that just did not justify why they're on PlayStation Plus Essential. It felt like some mediocre or really crappy game took place of a game that we could have potentially had, a first-party title that was actually going to probably be solid, or a game that was indie game that would have been so a good idea to put it on there, but they just kind of decided to put it. They decided to put it somewhere else, and I don't know. It's just it was kind of underwhelming, but not like super disappointing. I mean, we still had some standout games. Getting Dead Space was a major W. Getting Tunic was a major W too. But overall, yeah, 6 out of 10. If I had to give a concluding thoughts, because now on the timer I have like 1 minute and 50 seconds. Hey, PlayStation, give us more first-party titles. I would say, yeah, the sports game, save those for either PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, or just have it like a month where there's not going to be a lot of gaming and people are going to just be doing summification. Do it for like the summer months. Or more, better yet, do it towards December and put all your major titles in the first 6 months and put your crappy titles on just the last month. I think they should really just give us our money's worth because, you know, PlayStation Plus is essential. But I don't know, it just feels like you're just putting games, just crappy games. Just give us first party titles. Give us Demon's Souls PS5. Just kind of like really go outside the box and just give us our money's worth. And I'll add another 2 minutes because I will actually want to talk about this. Along with giving us first party, so let's make it interesting. Give us 3 things Sony likes throughout. 1, give us more first party titles and actually really indie games. Or kind of like what you do for Foam Stars, but give us better games. So give us better first party titles, or give us like indie games like Sea of Stars. That would just kind of drive people to get PlayStation Plus Essential. So yeah, first thing. Second thing, stop giving us a sports game every month. Save those for December. Just absolutely push it for December, or just do it like once every 2 months. Not every 2 months, like once it like of let's just say do it in like a random month that nobody's gonna really playing, and then put it in December. Because having a sports game every month that nobody's asking for, that just doesn't make any sense. And I guess the third thing I would say in terms of PlayStation Plus Essential, you know what? Yeah, go ahead and bring different titles. So have an RPG, a first-person shooter, and some other game. Because you did that last year, but that would have been cool if you basically just gave us an RPG first-person shooter consistently, or in and barely a sports game. I want a strategy game. That would have been nice to have a strategy game, because you did it previous years. So I don't know why you kept doing it like a sports game, then two other good games. I just don't think sports game are the way to go in terms of the essential. I think you should absolutely push it for the extra and premium. I don't think anybody's asking for a sports game. I don't. I do not mind it if it's just 1 month per year, but just doing it every month, that does kind of get annoying because no one asks it. It's just the sports game could have been replaced with anything else, and that's kind of where I'm coming forward to. So the third thing, give us an RPG, give us a first-person shooter, and give us an actual indie game and some other genre besides a sports game. So I kind of said the same thing as the second thing, but I mean, come on, we had too many sports games. At this point, you did an entire year of sports game. I'm cool. If it was Helldivers 2, that would have been freaking awesome. But they're not going to do it because they want us to spade. They don't have the balls to do it. So yeah, that's kind of what I want for 2025. If you give us first-party titles, give us a sports game 1 month per year, and just do the other recommendation I was talking about, just doing a first-person shooter, a RPG, and a different genre, or three different genres, but not a sports game, then I'll be a happy camper. That would justify the price for the PlayStation Plus Essential. With that in regard, no, you're going to keep getting 6 out of 10 or lower scores for me. I actually wanted to give it 5 out of 10 because I was like, there just was only a few games specifically, some games I enjoyed, but only like one. There was solid lines up in 2 months. That's not always good. I only wanted. I mean, January was great too. That was a good start. That was a solid start to an interesting year, but still. And that's kind of what I want to say about it. So, in terms of the games I'm going to be streaming for today, I'm feeling more Elden Ring. I'm feeling Elden Ring. And Shin Megami Tenshin. I want to go back to that. Shin Megami Tenshin 5 to be specific. So yeah, that kind of sums it up. Of course, you can leave that like, comment, or subscribe. What was your favorite month of the PlayStation Plus Essential? And don't worry, I will cover the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium because that's going to be interesting. Because I think that wasn't disappointing, unlike the Essential. But yeah, definitely leave. Hey, what was your favorite month in terms of PlayStation Plus Essential? Was it May and October? I will understand. But I will see you at the next clip.